good? Streaming on Twitch? Streaming on YouTube? Yeah, maybe. Sending data. There we go. There we go. All right, back for the third day in a row. I'm a 8-year in the industry professional software engineer. Been coding for, I don't know, the better part of 10, 12 years or so at this point. I'm currently in between jobs and thought I'd document my the process that I'm using to prepare for interviews. Just kind of talk about my software engineering experience, how it's been in the industry, you know, what I'm doing, possibly work on like my personal website and another smaller project that I have built out for fantasy football. So that's kind of why I'm here, just working through LeetCode right now. There's this top interview 150, I think it's 150 questions. And so I'm just kind of working my way through these. It's mostly been easy questions so far, but we're starting to get into the medium and the hard ones. And we'll see kind of how far I get. But yeah, let's get started. Best time to buy and sell stock. You are given an array prices, where prices of I is the price of a given stock on the ith day. You want to maximize your profit by choosing a single day to buy one stock and choosing a different day in the future, to sell that stock. Return the maximum profit you can achieve from this transaction. If you cannot achieve any profit, return 0. So, you know, this is just like real life, right? Like you buy stock on one day, you sell it a later day, and if you can't take a loss. That's not possible. Okay, so if the input is an array of 6 elements, which are 7, 1, 5, 3, 6, and 4, and the output is 5, why is the output 5? Return the maximum profit you can achieve from this transaction. Okay, so we're basically looking for 1 to 6. Buy on day 2, price equals 1. Sell on day 5, price equals 6. Profit equals 6 minus 1 is 5. Note that buying on day 2 and selling on day 1 is not allowed because you must buy before you sell. Example 2, it's in descending order, which means that you're never going to make a profit. So in this case, no transactions are done and the max profit is 0. Constraints, 1 is less than or equal to, so the length of the array can be from 1 to 10 to the 5th. And the elements within the array themselves can never be negative, and won't go greater than 10 to the 4th. Cool. All right. Thankfully, it's not a modifying an array in place question like we've had the last several questions, and but we can go ahead and get started here. What are we? So the most kind of brute forcey. Hey Fishy, how's it going? The most brute forcey solution here would be an n-squared solution. We're not actually making anything right now. I'm doing LeetCode problems. It's just one aspect of kind of the software engineering interview process, and there's a cool website called LeetCode that allows you to answer algorithms questions, and I'm just going through this list of the kind of top interview ones, and just working my way through them. I think I'm like 6, gotten 6 done. So not like making anything right now, but in other streams, I'll work on my personal website. I have a little app that I've been building around fantasy football that I play with my friends, so might work on that at some point as well. You want to be a software engineer when you grow up? Yeah, it's a cool industry to be in. There's so many different things you can do within the realm of software engineering. Hey Diggs, how's it going? yeah, there's so many things you can do in the world of software engineering, and so much stuff to learn. But it's definitely fun. You do web development right now? What do you build? Do you work in React or just vanilla JavaScript? Do you use a framework? If you do web development, you can call yourself a software engineer. You don't have to just do like web development is software engineering. VS Code, just HTML, CSS, and JS, some Node.js. Yeah. You can call yourself a software engineer. That's I mean, that's most of the stuff that I work in. I have mostly, for most of my career, used JavaScript, TypeScript, React, Node on the back end. So yeah, there's lots of jobs for just those 4 languages right there. You're young right now and still in middle school. Hey, you know, never a better time than when you're young to get started on coding. It was always something that I was kind of interested in when I was younger, but it was definitely, like, I was in middle school in the like mid 2000s. And so it was a little bit harder to get into it than it is now. There's so many resources now and so much to learn. But it's a great time to be getting into software development. I didn't start until I was in college. But I'd always been like super interested in science and math. So it kind of, I wouldn't say it came naturally. It was definitely a hard process kind of getting to the point where, I could do it professionally, but I imagine if I had started when I was in middle school, it would have made it a little bit easier. All right, let's see. So I want to maximize profit. So there's the like brute force solution would basically to be like an n-squared solution. So you'd go through each element and then check every element after that. That's not going to be the most optimal speed solution, but it'll get the job done. The APCS teacher at the high school I'm going to is making an exception for me to take his class as a freshman because I have an advanced understanding in APCS principles and stuff. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I knew I had some friends that did the CS stuff early on, and yeah, it's a great path if you enjoy it. Then stick with it. There's a lot you can do with it. Cool. Let's get focused on the problem here for a sec. All right, so if I'm just gonna do so there's the brute force approach, which is just iterating through each element and then checking every element after that and looking for the largest difference. There is there should be a faster way than that, but that's the only one that's coming to mind at the moment, so I'm going to implement it and then we can make it faster. You love it, but you're dabbling in Android app dev right now, but it's hard to work with Kotlin and XML. I didn't realize that was a requirement for building Android apps, or one of the ways you could build an Android app. I briefly had to work in XML at the last company I was working at, and it was kind of a nightmare. I mean, it's a bit like HTML, but it you know, it's pretty archaic at this point. I don't know why anyone would not use JSON. Using Android Studio, that's why. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, let's start this. So diff is just going to be the largest diff between 2 elements as we're iterating through the array. So we're going to say for let I equals 0, I is less than prices.length, I plus plus, or let j equal 1, j is less than prices dot length, j So if prices of what are we looking for? If we're, yeah, price of J minus prices of I is greater than diff equals prices of J minus prices of I. What's the goal here? The goal is to return the maximum profit you can achieve from this transaction. Or are you saying what's the goal of me doing this? Because the goal of me doing this is just kind of doing some algorithms prep for interviewing questions. Because there's a number of different, the goal of the problem. Return the maximum profit you can achieve from this transaction. So you're given an array prices where each element in the array is the price of a given stock on that particular day. So you want to basically find the day where you can maximize your profit. In this first example, the maximum profit would be from 1 to 6, because on day 2 it's at 1, on day 6 it's at, or day 5 it's at 6. And so in this case, you would return the difference between that, which is 5. In the case where there's no way to make a profit, you return 0. So that's why I'm setting diff to 0 and returning diff, assuming that this case doesn't hold true. I think this solution should work, although it's O of n squared runtime, which isn't ideal. Oh wait, did I do this backwards? Hold on. Why is it comparing 6 to 1? Because prices J should be iterating faster than I, so at all times it should be 6 minus 7 is -1. It's not going to be greater than 0. 4 minus 7, 3 minus 7, 1. What am I missing here? My solution is a bit different, but I don't know if it works anyway. Yeah, my output was 5. Yeah, did you do the same thing as me? Or something similar? You think? Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. I'll go through and look at it after I do mine. A long paragraph, yeah. I don't like console logging typically when I do problems like this, and especially in an interview setting, you're not gonna really have that luxury. This should be straightforward. I feel like I haven't woken up yet, but maybe I'm making excuses for myself. So why would diff be 5? Because prices of j is always going to be further down the chain. So even when it's the 4 and the 6, it's going to be 1 minus 6 is greater than diff. It's not. All right, I hate that I'm gonna do this, but I am just gonna console log these. And it's gonna look like a disgusting mess. It's actually not gonna look like a disgusting mess. What is happening here? Why is prices J6 and then 4, 3? Oh my god, I am doing this backwards. Wow. That's all it was. Boy. Yeah, so good morning. No, now that's wrong. Oh god. Oh, I feel dumb. Alright. Be less than the initial min price, max profit equals 0. At the start, the maximum profit is 0 since no transactions have been made for loop or for loop. If the current price is less than the min price, update min price. If not, calculate the profit by subtracting min price from the current price and check what's greater than the current max profit. That's just the explanation to mine. Did yours work? Or did it do what I did? Fishy. Oh, my output was 5, so I don't think it works. Your output was 5 for the second example, because if it was 5 for the first example, then you got it right. But to be fair, mine gets it right for the first example too. You don't know then. Yeah, it's all good. It's they say it's an easy problem, which, you know, is kind of hurting my ego a little bit, but I think I'm missing just one small thing. Also, I'm just gonna blame not enough caffeine this morning. Okay, prices of J to begin with would be 6 and I is 7. Then it's 4 and 7. Why would J be 6 and then I is moving faster? That part wasn't making sense to me. This is LeetCode problem 121, right? Yep. That's correct. Why is prices of J? What is it? Oh, okay. Let me console log outside of the if statement here. I feel like something weird is happening here. You're gonna try it real quick. I hope you have More luck than I am right now. Okay, so 6, 7, that's expected. 4, 7, it's expected. Because it's J and I, 3, 7, 1, 7, 6, 6. Oh. It's because I need to let J equal I. That's why J is always supposed to be... That's what's happening. J is always supposed to be one step ahead of, sorry, I plus 1. Although you can technically do I because the number minus itself is always going to equal 0. So yeah, J is always supposed to be one step ahead of I because we're comparing the next day and we don't want to go be comparing backwards. That was the problem. All right, so this isn't going to be a great runtime. Whoops, and it's also going to be horrible memory because of the console logs. Let me try this. Let me run this again. Time limit exceeded because I'm console logging a crazy amount. Submit again. Oh, I also didn't cover every test case, which I guess... Oh, and time limit exceeded. Okay, so we can't do this solution because it takes way too long. All right, so we need to scrap everything and think again. So we basically need to say, is there an element further in the array that is larger than the current element? There was a compiling error. Are you doing it in like JavaScript or in Kotlin? Is Kotlin even an option? It is an option. Wow. I don't even know what Kotlin looks like. No, it's got a bit of a Java-esque vibe. C++. Yeah, I think as a general rule of thumb, if you can avoid doing interviews in a compiled language, it's probably gonna help with interviews. Not that you're interviewing for anything anytime soon, but you can use JavaScript. Sounds good. Yeah, whenever you're doing coding or like interview questions, you typically want to use the like simplest languages possible. So JavaScript, Python, those kinds of languages. You'll just run into fewer like compilation issues and stuff like that. All right, I'm stalling. JavaScript has a runtime error, but TypeScript it works. That's weird. What's the code you're writing? Let min price equal infinity. I've never really seen anyone do that, by the way, like setting a variable to infinity. Typically in JavaScript, TypeScript, you'll set to either, you know, undefined, null, 0. On. You're special. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I personally haven't seen it, but it might be perfectly good for this solution. What is the, here, I'm just gonna copy and paste this in. And I'm wondering, will it allow me to format it? Is there a way to, oh yeah, format code. Well, that didn't work. Can you format code now? No. All right. Really gonna make me go all the way through. Let's see what you got here. What is this triple star notation you have? Nah, it's all good. You don't need to send it line by line. What is X? I have no idea what this is. Never seen this before. Is this some new JavaScript thing that I don't know about? Whoops. Probably. What it? Star X? Does this work? Oh yeah, what is this? But let's look at the solution anyway. So you're just iterating through it once. Oh, yeah. No, that's smart. You're just setting the min price, and then if any number is below that, then. But what is that notation? Oh, you don't know what that was. Okay. I don't even know what X is though. I'm confused. That's okay. I keep in my chat here. Maybe I need to go to my Twitch because because I'm seeing in Restream here, it's like, oops, how do I get to my channel? All right, I'm seeing, oh, math dot, okay. There we go. Yep, that makes more sense. Although I don't know what math.x is. Oh, is it max? Okay, great. Nice. All right, yeah. This solution works. That makes a lot of sense because you're iterating through. You're looking for the lowest number there is, and then everything after that, you're just checking if there's a lower number and if the max profit is higher. Is this gonna work for all the solutions? Did you run it for everything? Nice. Nice. Look at you. You can definitely call yourself a software engineer. Yeah, this is a clever solution. Let me understand. Software engineer at 13. Hey, they're people who have started companies in their teenage years. It's it's a good skill to have, especially nowadays. right, so we iterate through. You're checking if the next price is lower than the min price. If it is, then you're setting min price to that. Otherwise, I guess that works because in that, oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, that's a really clever solution. Nice. Great. All right, this time. Yeah, explanation. Start with a large value to ensure that any stock price will be smaller. Max profit 0. Initialize profit to 0 since no transaction has been made yet. Loop through prices. At each step, update the min price if the current price is lower. Otherwise, compute the potential profit for that day and update max profit if it's larger than the previous max profit. Yeah, that's a really clever solution. All right, I'm gonna work on this next problem. And I'm actually, Fishy, gonna do my best not to just copy and paste your solution because I need to be able to do it myself. But if I could have you in my, yeah, I got it. If I could have you in my back pocket during my interviews, that would be great. All right. So very similar problem, I think, to the previous one. You're given an integer array prices where prices of I is the price of a given stock on the ith day. On each day, you may decide to buy or sell the stock. You can only hold at most one share of the stock at any time. However, you can buy it, then immediately sell it on the same day. Find and return the maximum profit you can achieve. So you can buy it, then immediately sell it on the same day. Why would you do that? So example 1, prices, the output is 7. So what are we're returning, find and return the maximum profit you can achieve. Why is the output 7? Buy on day 2. Oh. I see. So we're basically taking the same. Okay, so it's like it's the same problem except you can add on to the profit rather than just having one profit. Yeah. So I'm actually just gonna go back to this previous problem and copy it because I think it should be a relatively small tweak here. So basically instead of setting max profit, we are able to add the profit that we make in like any given next day. So is it just that you do max profit plus equals? You're given an integer array prices wherever it says. On each day you may decide to, but you want to maximize your profit by buying and selling as many times as turn the maximum profit you can achieve from these transactions. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's what it would be. Because it's the same exact problem. You're just looking for, you can just make profit at every point. In this case, it would get more complicated if you could buy multiple shares, but no, that doesn't work. Output is 32. Oh. Oh, right. Min price isn't, we're not looking at min price anymore. Oh, min price will reset once we take a max profit. So we can actually do, I think, plus equals, but then min price becomes this new price. Think. Unknown network error. I can't tell if I'm streaming or not. My internet crashed and then...
Unless you
I am live, okay. Alright, am I back? What happened to the stream? It crashed. Or, well, it didn't crash, but my internet went down. I'm live again, don't worry. Okay. I think you said something about not following me earlier. You can still follow me now. There's nothing wrong with that. Alright, so I did the plus equals. That doesn't work, and it's not working because that's just going to keep adding, like, max profit to itself. So really, I think it was just you want to add profit if profit is positive. And then I think at that point you want to modify or do you always want to change? You might always want to change min price. No, if min price is lower, then you do, which happens there. So I actually think we're good. Sadness, I did. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. You got the solution? Well, I clearly don't have the solution. For some reason, problems like this trip me up. Okay, so min price gets us to 7. Then the profit's negative, so it doesn't do anything. Then min price gets set to... Oh, do you want to... Min price 5, so it's... I have too many. I'm close. I have too many lines of code. Yours is shorter. Yeah. It's surprisingly difficult reading chat and then also trying to think about these problems. Okay, I think the first part is right, where we're setting them in price. And if we're not setting them in price, then we want to check if there's a profit. And if there is a profit, then we... Oh, if there is a profit, then don't we want to set min price back to infinity? because then we don't want to, then we've sold, so our min price is nothing. Okay, we're getting closer. Oh, but then you can buy on the same day again? Right, so you don't want to set it to infinity. You do want to set it then to prices of I. Oh, you want to set it to prices of I if it's... Okay, this looks disgusting. If price of I is less than or equal to min price, then we set min price equal to prices of I. No. What's happening? Iterate through prices. We'll loop through the prices, right? If prices of I plus 1 is greater than price of I, we add the difference to max profit. Return max profit. After the loop, we return the accumulated profit. Mine's... Because we don't have a min profit anymore, so don't set anything to infinity. Delete the min profit equals infinity line. I don't have a min profit equals infinity line, do I? Are you saying min price equals infinity? You're good. All right, I delete that, but then... What am I, do I not need a min price anymore? Is that what you're saying? No, you don't need it anymore. Okay, so we don't need it anymore. I'm just gonna start fresh. All right. So what you're saying, just let max profit equal 0. Loop through the prices, right? If prices of I plus 1 is greater than prices, add the difference to max profit, and then return max profit. Is that really a simple... Plus 1 is greater than prices of I, then max profit. Is that really all we're doing in this problem? Is just like... Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it is. You're almost done. Oh, and you have to do prices of length minus 1. Yeah. That makes sense. So you don't access something outside of the array. Yeah, that makes sense. It's such a simple problem because really all you're, yeah, you're right. All you're doing is adding two adjacent numbers, or not adding, but looking for the difference in two adjacent numbers when the second one is larger than the first one. And since you can only buy one piece of stock and you had to sell it at the second day, then that means that you're always just looking for the two adjacent numbers. Yeah, that's very straightforward. Yeah, good find. So I as I've been using LeetCode, I've realized that the way they run their submissions, I think, depends on whether or not you pay for premium, as well as just how many people are running it at any given time. So the runtime tends to vary pretty dramatically between submissions. See, like this time it's 52 milliseconds and we beat 90% of people, and last time it was 70 milliseconds and we'd only beat 23% of people. Cool. All right, let's move on to another one. Jump game. You are given an integer array nums. You are initially positioned at the array's first index, and each element in the array represents your maximum jump length at that position. You're given an integer array nums. You are initially positioned at the array's first index, and each element in the array represents the maximum jump length at that position. Return true if you can reach the last index, or false otherwise. So, all right, so it's basically saying you can move 2 and then 1 and then 1 and then you get to the last element. No, jump 1 step from index 0 to 1. Why? Oh, because you could also theoretically jump 2 steps and then jump 1 step and then jump 1 step. So I guess there's 2 possible solutions to this first one. And the second one is false because if you jump 3 from here, you get to 0. If you jump 2 from here, 1 gets to 0. Okay. So it's basically, you're basically looking to see if you can, as you're jumping, if the elements that you're landing on all add up to greater than the length of the array, I believe. You think when you face this problem, you ignore it? All right, constraints. Length of the array can be from 1 to 10 to the 4th, and the amount, or the numbers themselves, can be from 0 to 10 to the 5th. So it's kind of similar to the previous problem, or the previous couple problems, but so we'll have a for loop. Length by plus. Actually, do we even need a for loop? You'll tune in again. I have baseball tryouts. Good luck. Good luck. See ya. Thanks for following and hanging out. It was great. You were super helpful. Good luck on the baseball tryouts. I used to love playing baseball. Here's your solution before I leave. Okay, I'm not gonna read it until after I've done my solution, but thank you. I appreciate it. What do you say? It was fun. Bye. See ya. All right. Just gonna go grab some water. All right. Let's see if we can get this. So there's got to be a more clever way than just kind of brute forcing it, obviously. I guess all you have to do is go from you look for the largest number within the next elements and then just keep doing that. So okay, so we'll say let num equal nums of 0 while holy cow, num does not equal 0. Otherwise we return false, because if num is 0, that means we can't jump any further. So actually for let I equals num, I is greater than 0, I plus minus minus. No. I is 0, I is less than, there we go, less than num, I plus plus. So we're basically going to iterate through nums. So if okay, so our index in nums is, so I equals index. I is less than num plus index, I plus plus. If index actually plus 1. So if hold on, this is real. I feel like I get the solution, but I'm confusing myself just a smidge. So as we want to be decreasing num as we move forward. So maybe actually we do just go by 1 and then so nums is the first element. If num ever equals 0, we want to return false. And if I ever equals nums dot length. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this actually could be true. And then that's still gonna be less than. All right. So basically, if we get to the end of this for loop, that means we were successful. Otherwise, if num ever equals 0, we return false. So if nums of I is greater than num, then we set num equal to nums of I. Otherwise, num and I guess actually at the beginning. Oops. I think before this we want to say num minus minus. I think it's something along these lines. So, okay, we're iterating through. Just go through the first example. So num is 2. Num does not equal 0. So we're going to jump one space. And actually, we can start at I equals 1. Going to jump one space. If in this case 3 is greater than 1, we'll set that to 3. Then we're going to jump to the next space, which is 2. Yeah, I think this solution should work. I think this should be valid. Yes, it works for both of these test cases. Does it work for all of the test cases? Yes, it does. Okay, cool. That one wasn't too bad. Wow, some of these solutions take a really long time to run, but very good memory usage. And I'm curious if we submit it again, if we're gonna get a better runtime. Excuse me. No, not really. Cool. That one was relatively straightforward. All right, building on this question with Jump Game 2. And this might be my last question before I hop off and go watch some football. You are given a 0-indexed array of integers num of length n. You are initially positioned at nums 0. You are given a 0-indexed array of integers. 0-indexed. Okay, so everything, all of the elements are 0. Each element represents the maximum length of a forward jump from index I. In other words, if you are at nums I, you can jump to any nums I plus j where j is less than or equal to nums I and I plus j is less than n. Return the minimum number of jumps to reach nums of n minus 1. Such that you can, okay, the test case is generated such that you can reach nums of n minus 1. Okay, so it's very similar to the previous problem. So for this first example, the minimum number of jumps is, the last index is 2. Okay, because that's that. I still think it's almost the same answer as the previous problem. Except this time you don't return a Boolean. You return the number of steps. But I think you always want to return, or like grab the biggest number that's available. This feels too straightforward. Oh, whoops. Don't need that anymore. This feels too straightforward. It worked, but I don't think it's gonna work for every test case. Yeah, it didn't. So I mean, I guess you could say by the end, if jumps equals 0, then return 1, otherwise return jumps, but I don't really like that. I don't think that should cover the rest. Yeah. Really, it's saying that's a jump? I would maybe argue that that's not the case, but oh, it's because I set I equal to 0. Or I equal to 1. So it'd be nums of negative. Okay, yeah, this might work actually. A little bit of modification here. I think this should work. No, this fails again. Maybe it's that I need to check then if it's less or greater than or equal to. No, okay. Let's take a step back here. So let's go back to the original solution that mostly worked. I think this is the one that got to like 37. Is that right? Of 109? Yeah, okay. So I guess if any number plus I. So if any nums of 0 plus I, so if num plus nums of I is greater than or equal to nums.length, then we just want to return. But this doesn't cover the case where it's just 0. So, I mean, I guess if we want to just cover that case, if nums.length equals 1, just return 1. Wait, am I crazy? Because I swear we just had this test case expect the opposite. What is happening here? This feels non-deterministic for some reason. It's very strange. Okay, hold on. If I remove this real quick, which error do I get? Okay, that one doesn't work. But when I do, whatever, it's not worth it. Okay. Expecting 2. There's got to be a just more straightforward solution than having 2 if statements here. I don't really like that if statement. But now we run into the 2-1 issue again. Hey guys, how's it going? What am I coding? I'm on LeetCode, which is a website that has a bunch of algorithms questions. And I'm just working through this top interview 150 list. I think I've gotten through, 9 of them. And, maybe I'll make it through all of them, but just starting out with these and just, it's one element of like the interview process. Can you hear my dogs? It's one part of the interview process for software engineering. So just getting some practice in because it's been many years since I've needed to do this. So yeah, just thought I could document my journey. Can I turn down the music? It's a little too loud. Sure, you got it. Is that better? All right, so we're pretty close on this problem. I think I'm just missing like 1 or 2 lines of code, or even just a nuanced piece of one of the lines of code, no problem on the music. I mean, I hate to do this, but okay, hold on. I need to go back to the description here, because from what I was reading, it seemed like they're generated such that you can reach nums of n minus 1. Okay, so I guess if nums.length equals 1, you return 0. And if nums of length equals 2, then you return 1. Does that cover all of the test cases then? No. Because my output for this one is still 1. Why is that? So I guess in this case, then we start with jumps. Would that mean we start with jumps equals 2? This feels weird. No, okay, yeah. I think I'm totally overcomplicating this. So all right, so we're starting with this is not working. Because we're jumping, we're not. We don't have the right definition for what a jump means. Okay, so that's a jump, and then if, okay, so otherwise, if I equals nums.length minus 1, which means we're at the end, then we also want to jump. Oops. Nums.length. Okay, so if there's another case where if num plus I equals or is greater than or equal to nums.length minus 1, then I still think we add a jump and then we return our jumps. Oh boy. There's got to be a much more elegant solution than this. What do I want to do? I've been in the industry as a software engineer doing full stack work. So a mixture of like front end web development and then back end server infrastructure development for like 8 years now. And I've worked for a handful of different companies, kind of ranging from like 3-person startups all the way up to 25,000 person companies. And I was just at a startup, and now I'm looking for the next thing. Just wanted a bit of a break, and so I felt like documenting my interview prep process and just kind of like coding adventures in the meantime. So more full stack work for another company, most likely. But what company that is obviously to be determined. And unfortunately for me, algorithms is a, decent part of the interviewing process for software jobs. And so I'm on LeetCode doing these problems and struggling with them. But you gotta work at something to get better. So here I am in the weeds of I think, relatively simple algorithms problem, but making it way more complicated than it needs to be. Okay, I'm not really liking my solution here at all. So, okay, this covers the base case where it's just a single element, which is 0, because it took 0 jumps. In the case where it's 2 elements, it should always be 1. But let's just work through the description again. You're given a 0 indexed array of integers nums of length n. You are initially positioned at num 0. Each element, nums I, represents the maximum length of a forward jump from index I. In other words, if you are at nums I, you can jump to any nums I plus j where j is less than or equal to 0 or greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to nums of I, and I plus j is less than n. Return the minimum number of jumps to reach nums of n minus 1. The test cases are generated such that you can reach nums of n minus 1. Am I making a game? No, not right now. I have dabbled in game making in the past with Godot, the Godot engine. So at some point I might do that. I've had several different ideas more than a handful of ideas for games, but it's always, it's a lot of work to make a game. So I've been trying to, like, whenever I do sit down to make a game, like, pare back the features and just make it as simple as possible and just kind of get something out the door. But it's been a few months since I've done anything with game making, but I might pick it up on a stream at some point soon. Okay, let's go back to, let's take what we had here, because that's pretty close to being right. So every time we're increasing like jumping, we're decreasing our num, which is kind of our jump, current number of jumps that we can make, by 1. And then we're saying if the current jump you can make is greater than we say that we jumped. And but again, there's the case of if I plus num is greater than or equal to nums dot length minus 1, then we do add a jump. We return jumps. So I feel like we had this, and this wasn't working. That outputs 1, and we expected 2. Oh, actually, we want to do this at the end, don't we? That's in addition to... Oh, how did I get rid of... When did I get rid of jumps here? That's not right. Okay, and yeah, so this is supposed to be at the beginning. If I got this question asked in a software engineering interview, I would be failing so hard right now. Okay, so it's failing with these smaller cases here because so maybe we do want to start with I at 0. And then I is less than nums.length. Or maybe we do start at I of 1 and then jumps is 1. And if nums.length is 1, we return 0 and just catch that case at the beginning. No, but we still need to catch this case. It's so if I plus num is greater than or equal to nums.length minus 1, then we still want to add a jump and then return. But this is causing issues elsewhere. Boy. This is killing me. All right, we're gonna start fresh. We are going to start fresh. All right, so we have not jumped yet. We're going to take this first element of the array. So if num is greater than nums.length minus 1, we return 1. So this will get the case where there's 2 elements. And the first, yeah, where there's 2 elements. This will also cover the case where the first element is the only element and it's 0. So we'll return 0 for jumps. So now we're going to iterate through. Let I equal there's no point in starting at the first element. So we want to start at the second element. I is less than nums.length. And increase I. So we want to decrement num. Because we've taken a step. And if nums of I, so if the current step is greater than or equal to num. No, not equal to. Because if it's greater than num, then we want to jump. And we want to set num equal to nums I think this is exactly the same solution we had before, but the other thing we want to check is if and do that. Yeah, I guess we can do that at the end. If num plus I is greater than nums, greater than or equal to nums dot length. Is the channel German? No, that's just part of my last name. My family came from Germany a long time ago. Moved to the United States in like the mid 1800s, I think. Hey Ahmed, how's it going? If num plus I is greater than or equal to nums dot length, then I think we want to jump to the end basically and then return. But I feel like this is the exact solution that I had before and it didn't work. And it doesn't even work for this first solution. So why are we getting 3? Do I speak German? No, I don't. I don't. No, my family's lost the German heritage a long time ago. Because I think I want to say, I mean, my dad's told me that they came in like the 1850s to the United States. So that's, 175 years ago. Whether or not that's actually true, I can't know for certain, but that's the story I've been told. All right, this is a frustrating problem because this solution here is like almost correct. Why is this not returning 0? So jumps to 0 if num. Oh, okay. Well, if num's dot length is 1, you always return 0. But this is gonna fail at like 50, isn't it? 45. So the output is 1. Because we're automatically jumping. So maybe jumps is supposed to start at 1. No, that can't be right though. Yeah, because then it just fails these first test cases. So maybe we are actually supposed to stop before we get to the end. Is that it? No. Oh yeah, because this test case doesn't work. So again, it gets back to this. I guess it's only one jump now. So if we say now if num plus I is greater than or equal to num's dot length minus 1, then we just return jumps. Okay, we're getting closer, but I'm not enjoying this brute force approach. Oh yeah, then we start to get into some edge cases like that. Fun. Yeah, this is a really interesting problem. I'm not actually totally sure how you solve it. It's probably something about keeping track of, you just have to keep track of quite a bit of stuff, but huh. Because you don't necessarily want to just go to the next, like take the next, like this isn't right. Line 20 isn't right. Because you don't always want to do that. But how do you know when you should or when you shouldn't? There must be a more straightforward way to know. Um, Hold on one sec. Seeing if my internet is back up again. Seems like we're back online, so one moment. Okay. Yeah, this is really not an easy problem. But it's something to do with this. It's like, yeah, I don't really want to go look at the submissions, but at the same time, I'm not really sure how to solve this one. So I will go look at, or not my submissions, but solutions. Let's go to TypeScript. An O of N solution. So similar, if length is 1, you return 0, you set jumps to 1. So this is my num, let within, max within reachable. If reachable is greater than or equal to n minus 1, it makes sense. So that's actually this check here, doing it first, but I guess that's also this check. So iterating through the array, if I is less than the length of the array, so they're actually doing that. Max within reachable is the max. So max within reachable is, or I plus nums of I. If I equals reachable, Why does this solution work? So max within reachable. So what is? I equals reachable. So it's doing it all based on the. So it's, yeah, it's not doing this num minus minus thing. So interesting. Huh. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna go watch some football. Thanks for everyone that hopped on. It was a more hey KFC, how's it going? I was just about to hop off, and I was just kind of giving a conclusion for the stream, but yeah, I had more trouble today with these questions than I did previously. Can you build a website next time? Sure. Yeah. Oh, hey, Leo. Yeah, KFC, you're late. Yeah, I can work on a website next time. I can either kind of work on my personal website, or I have a little fantasy football app that I have like integrated with Sleeper that I use for like the auction drafts that we do with some of my friends. So I can probably work on something like that, or I can like just start building a game or something. But yeah, I definitely don't need to do leak code every time I stream. Yeah, sorry KFC, about to hop off. If you want to get notified next time I'm on. Do I stream daily? I've streamed daily the last 3 days, but that doesn't mean I'm always going to stream daily. I don't have like a set schedule yet, and it's kind of going to depend on a few different factors, but I'll do my best to stream as much as I can, and I pretty much hit a maximum at about like 2.5 hours of streaming, so yeah, we'll see if I can increase my stamina over time. But yeah, if you want to get notified, hit follow or subscribe. I guess you're on YouTube. And I think you should get notified when I go live. Or maybe you have to click the notification button to get notified. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for hopping on, guys. I'll talk to you all later.